guys, Super Foxy, welcome back to the channel. So as you can see with the title, we're doing a timeline video for Lava Wolf's Five Nights at Freddy's plushie series. Pretty much all of them combined because I know all the series seem confusing, but they're like happening at certain times. Like they're all put together, connected as one, but they're all like happening during certain times. Like one series, for example, which is Sister Location, that's the first part of the series. FNAF World is the second part. Yada yada yada. Oh, and by the way, what I'm about to read to you guys is written down. Like I'm literally reading all of this to you guys, and you listen. But anyways, not everything is happening all at once of what I'm reading to you. Like all of it happens over the years and stuff, because why would it all happen at once and then freaking like skip on to the next year? But never mind about that. Let's just get on with this. So the first part of the series is Sister Location, like I was saying. It's the beginning of all of this. 1998 to 2009. A very rich and wealthy family make it famous. Their income and money go beyond their expectations, and they pay off their taxes and come to the decision to buy their own huge private land, all for themselves. Their land is the biggest estate, which leads Lucky to work as a scientist, and to experiment on every living and non-living creature of the land. After all their work, people start to trespass into their land. There's no official order that prevents people from entering the land, so Sister Location and Lucky take action against that by signing a contract and creating robots and mutants to help watch/protect over their land from intruders. The next part of the series, FNAF World. 2010 to 2019. The world starts getting overpopulated, and there isn't as much space as there was years ago. So SL and Lefty's contract to the private land is terminated. People from cities and states are forced to be brought in to settle to the state. The only rights that SL and Lefty had left had been changed to owning an apartment complex place, so they had been kicked from their mansion and were now officially living in one of their very own apartments. They were still living in peace until one day they started going bankrupt. To make change of that along with their income, they made advancements and got the apartments built bigger, and some people had to share rooms and make their own private space. Unlucky, SL and Lefty ended up in a room with tons of people, and with Lefty being crowded and his space no longer being available to him, he started to lose it and started making inhumane plans, aka killing off people. SL started taking notes of that, so then they came up with the decision to lock him up for a long while to help protect the apartment complex with everyone in it and to rehabilitate him back to reality because, he was going crazy all over stupid stuff. The next part of the timeline is Bonnie's Amazing Adventure / Broken Foxy, so they're happening at the same time. Well, the series, both are happening at the same time. 2020 to 2021. SL comes up with the decision to finally release Lefty from his little prison. Little did they know, though, Lefty is still filled with rage throughout his body. With that being said, Lefty is back to make his inhumane plans to killing off all who's in his space. He goes back into his lab and starts working back with his old experiments and makes progress with his newer plans as well. He's caught once again, and his rights being one of the owners is taken away. SL's ordered to kick Lefty out completely, but they refuse because they see his family. What they don't refuse to do is lock Lefty's experiment / robot / mutants up away in the lab for safekeeping. And with what would be half of Lefty's income that would come in not belonging to him anymore, they didn't want to be selfish and keep it for themselves. So without throwing it out or sending it back and taking it out of their checks, they threw an eating contest where whoever won would get Lefty's income every week and would become rich. Everyone entered the contest, but out of everyone who was there, the only one who had won was Foxy. Lefty was filled with rage after that, so he decided to mess up Foxy's life by taking action into horrid, inhumane plans that he'd been planning for a long while. Take it on Foxy. And by starting it off with capturing some people and infecting them with some sort of disease that made them obey his every command. There were too many people infected to the point of some being held captive in his lab. After a while, Lefty finally decided to send out his infected out onto one of Foxy's friends, also known as Bonnie. Neither Bonnie and Foxy captured and trapped Bonnie into a magical force field that held Bonnie captive. Neither Bonnie went to alert Lefty of who they had held captive so that they could kill him off and ruin Foxy's life by slowly taking the lives of, those he had loved. In which event it failed because Bonnie somehow destroyed the virus attached to Foxy and managed to escape. Lefty eventually found out and ordered everybody to reinfect Foxy and kill off Bonnie, which again became another fail. Lefty decided to finally give up with that side of his plan and just went on to take care of Foxy himself. He struck upon Foxy while he slept and attempted to kill him, then went on happily about his day, later on realizing that he only did damage without killing him. Foxy decided to ignore all of it, but then he ran into two other scientists that he got to help with this problem. They built a time machine and went back to a day to stop all of that from happening, and forcibly throw Lefty out of the apartment through the window, thinking that they got rid of him, but didn't because he secretly made himself immortal. But along by side that, they returned back to the time and Foxy was still broken. Why? Because he was crushed by this dinosaur figure that was used for a backup plan because Lefty already knew this kind of stuff was going to happen. But as soon as they returned, the time machine was completely broken and they could literally do nothing about it, so they trashed it and went on about their day. Lefty later on managed to enter the house to finally kill off Foxy. Meanwhile, Foxy is spreading lies about how he became rich to Chica, just people in general. Then after word passes out, Lefty goes off into his library and instead of killing Foxy himself, he releases one of his dangerous mutants to do it. He starts freaking out because little did he realize, well, he did realize, but it was a little tiny bit that he realized, because he forgot to complete the process of mind controlling the monster that he had mutated, or created. It then attacks him instead. So yeah, there's that. Then attacking other people. It frees out all their mutations that Lefty had held captive, and instead of going after everybody that the monster expected him to, they tried to attacking the monster itself for messing their boss up, which is Lefty. But then they fail, and the monster goes on to destroy everything in its path. It travels to the other world and kidnaps the other version of Foxy, then comes back. Meanwhile, the real Foxy is hiding out, making plans. Then traps the monster back into his cage, locking him up forever. Chica goes to investigate to see what the other world Foxy's up to. And then he leaves, somehow hopping through a portal to which Lefty had created while they were distracted to continue his mega plan that nobody knew of trying to kill Foxy. Well, they did know of it, but not as big. Chica runs to tell Foxy, and he goes to investigate too as well, and he accidentally jumps through the portal, discovering what was going on. Later on, after Lefty's plan fails, again, because Foxy destroyed it, they return back home, into which a newcomer / draft girl with Down syndrome, which is great to see. The dragon is revealed to be living in the area now, when in reality she was just one of Lefty's experiments to scare Foxy to death, because he was working on a lot of plans. It doesn't work fully, so he infects Helby into thinking he's his dad for a temporary amount of time to help with his plans, and sends him off to go check on Foxy, then disinfecting the draft because he no longer needed her and she was useless, firing her. Gracie joins on Foxy's side, and again when Lefty tries to destroy Foxy again, but fails because Gracie of foiling those plans. Lefty continues to attempt to destroy Foxy and actually manages to kill him, but he's then brought back with the power of Lefty's life machine, and all thanks to Gracie. It's all because of that. Lefty finds out and kills off Gracie and a funeral for his health. Meanwhile, with the distraction specifically, Lefty creates a dragon type of monster that he originally made blueprints off of for creating himself a child because he wanted one, and a dragon specifically because he loves dragons. But instead of that, creating a child, he creates a childlike monster for his plans of destroying Foxy. After the funeral, Lefty sends out his dragon to destroy Foxy, but that fails also because Gracie is summoned from the dead somehow, but not really. She's just a ghost, popping out. She comes up to protect him, Foxy specifically. Then afterwards, Lefty attempts to kill off Foxy again with another one of his experiments, Twisted Freddy, that's what it's called, but fails because of Nightmare Bonnie, who Bonnie kidnapped while he was infected and kept as a pet. Nightmare Bonnie only tried to kill Foxy off because it was originally his job, so that's why he stopped Twisted Freddy from doing it. Days pass, and Lefty is getting angry and angrier, so he waits until the right time while Foxy is eating. He places a container with toxic ooze next to him and hides off. Foxy gets curious and accidentally touches it. Lefty already knows what's going to happen, and then he is muted temporarily. Lefty tries to kill him while he's mutated, but fails because he changes back. Lefty has grown too tired of waiting, so he finally decides to fight Foxy to the death. But it backfires because a guy known as Shark Puppet distracts him. He was on Foxy's side trying to help because he's from the future and stuff. And Foxy wins the fight. Lefty is passed out for a few, and Foxy is lost of energy, but decides to go to Springtime to help him build another time machine to help him travel back to stop Gracie from getting killed. He doesn't go to Helpy or Golden Freddy because they're busy, and because he's the only other scientist, aka Springtrap, that he knows of. Springtrap agrees on helping Foxy, but then reveals that he was once on Lefty's side. One of his friends, pretty much. But then randomly out of nowhere, instead of using a time machine to take him back, he teleports him with his powers, because in reality, Springtrap is actually Freddy Krueger. Foxy then, when he's teleported, fixes the entire problem and is teleported back home with a greeting from Gracie. Foxy then, after so many attempts of almost getting killed, finally decides to destroy Lefty and destroys him to the point of him giving up on fighting anymore. But later on, he goes into the dark web and buys a knife that apparently kills in an instant. He confronts Foxy and puts a knife through his heart and runs off, but instead of Foxy dying, he's fixed, but his skin/suit color is changed. He goes to Phantom Foxy to fix the problem and gets changed back. Later on, Foxy is brought to a cloning machine and clones himself just because he's bored. Meanwhile, after Foxy wanders off, he runs into one of Lefty's old robots that have been searching for Lefty for so many years to destroy him, all because he was abandoned, thinking it was all Lefty's fault all Lefty's doing, when actually it was all because of the SL for throwing out all of Lefty's robots. A month later, the robot is still searching for Lefty, and meanwhile, Lefty's making deals with one of his experiments, known as Vanny. Her body's been misshapen and messed up, and she wants to be fixed. In order for that to happen, she has to agree to kill off Foxy and his friends, mainly Foxy. But then, instead of immediately going to kill him, Lefty gives her a job to boss around his other experiments, and that if they don't show up on time when Vanny needs them around to help write blueprints/plans Foxy, that she has permission to scrap/destroy them. She's given a knife to assist her with that. After a long while of bossing them around, one is killed for not showing up on time, but he surprisingly ends up living like how Foxy did, alive but scrapped up. Foxy finds him and brings him back to life with wiring and a memory chip. Sorry, that's what I said. Then joining Foxy's side and explaining everything to him, what his purpose was and who he was working for. In continuation, Vanny meets up with Lefty and greets him with the news that she has destroyed Pigpatch alongside her reasoning, and that she was tired of everyone who he had working for to always end up late on time. For her working for her, or them working for her. She wanted to take care of things by herself, just destroy Foxy and everyone, just like that. Lefty refused to let her, and it caused her to rage. She was tired of waiting, so she decided that if she was going to kill Foxy, that he would give her old body back/transform her back to a normal. But it was also a trick too. Lefty agreed on it because he wasn't putting up with her complaining. He switched her back, and instead of going straight for what she was meant to do, she killed Lefty for what she was meant to do. Okay, sorry, I started. She killed Lefty for controlling her every action and treating her poorly. His body was stuffed into a bag and hidden throughout the apartment, like mainly in a closet. She went into her hiding spot nearby where Foxy was and noticed that Pigpatch was still alive. She grew angry but continued to watch over to wait for the right time to kill him. She then snapped to reality and came to the realization that it wasn't a good idea to take on this job herself. So instead of killing off Foxy/everyone herself, she decides to do what Lefty would do, but more advanced. She went outside the apartment, kidnapped someone, aka Montgomery Gator, brought him to Lefty's lab and infected him with the virus that he had held captive, to follow her orders. She sent him out to trick Foxy and for him to pretend he was a sweet and friendly guy before killing anyone. He met up to Foxy and Pigpatch. They didn't think anything bad of it, so when they turned their back to him, he killed Pigpatch, and when Foxy took notice of it, he freaked out and went to search for help. Nobody was in his sight besides Monty, so Foxy did what anyone would do. He hid himself and Montgomery kept searching. He wasn't going to stop till the job got done. Foxy waited for Monty to drop his guard off the area, so he snuck off and went to find help. He found the SL gang plus Helpy and Golden Freddy, and explained to them that Pigpatch was killed by an alligator, and that he was next. They made plans and all ganged up on the gator. They held him hostage and disarmed him of every weapon and questioned him. He refused to talk, so instead of torturing him until he talks, Golden Freddy used a machine that would make him talk no matter what. After they got all that figured out, they removed the virus from his body, and he was set free. They went searching for Vanny, with Vanny being as smart as she is. She already had seen this coming. Nobody could track sight of her, so they all split up, and instead of killing Foxy instantly, she watched over everyone, until they were searching and waited till they dropped their guard. She killed Helpy, hit his body, then managed to try and go after Foxy. She then stopped herself and notices Lefty's candy cadet robot that's searching for Lefty. She grabs him and deactivates him and reboots his system, setting him up to hypnotize the SL gang, Helpy, Golden Freddy, and to distract him. After she accomplishes that, she goes to Foxy, grabs him and slits his throat, drops him and then runs off. SL, Helpy, and Golden Freddy are broken from the hypnosis, and when they go to find Vanny, but notice that Foxy has been killed. Golden Freddy goes into Lefty's library with Helpy and revives Foxy. Everyone is tired of all these mishaps that happen out of the blue. So the two scientists are ordered to create a machine that controls time and events and just the future in general, so that they'll all be more prepared for another attack like that. Lefty is brought back later on, up on the road, just throughout time, but it's finally destroyed due to everyone's planning and preparation of everything. All of his experiments, things, except Vanny and Spiral, are freed, which Spiral is the dragon. And the reign of terror that used to be huge now is a lot smaller than usual. Time still continues. Next in the timeline, Adventures of Phantom Foxy, 2022 to God, he knows what year. Everyone realizes the reason behind why Lefty even made all these plannings to destroy everyone, mainly Foxy, and decided that since Foxy was the one with all the money and high income, that it would go to someone that would have made peace with Lefty. So they gave everything to Foxy. Counterpart, Phantom Foxy. Foxy got him fixed and so did Pigpatch. There were no problems that Foxy had to deal with anymore, and along beside that, he also got himself a job as a janitor for apartment room service into where he lived, with Phantom Foxy with Lefty. With Phantom Foxy with Lefty/Foxy's income, Vanny and Spiral are now going after Phantom Foxy to help avenge Lefty's name. They don't immediately go off to destroy Phantom Foxy, but instead they inserted Brainworm into Springtrap's Freddy Krueger's brain to help lure Phantom Foxy in to destroy him, and anyone else that Lefty income and rights to living in what he originally owns go to. Phantom Foxy takes notice of the suspicious activity as Springtrap and reports it to the SL, and the SL investigates unnoticeably and finds out what's going on, with Lefty's reputation still continuing through his experiments that has been left behind from when his existence ceased to exist anymore. They have left Phantom Foxy with the job of discarding those experiments from SL apartment complex, and so it took him a while, but he managed to do it when Vanny and Spiral decided to pop out from their little hiding spot to try destroying him. They jumped out from behind him, and his instincts made him jump up, knock them out, and throw them out forever. Peace was finally made within the SL apartment complex, and the only problem left was plumbing because the toilets and sinks started leaking. Then there's many years after all of that stuff. Everyone started growing old, and the SL family finally started working on retiring their job and selling their apartment complex area. And right as they had gotten that done, they moved to a private mansion up on a hill to where it was peace and quiet and nothing to worry about. All was back to how it originally was from when they had gotten their rights to owning land as big as a state, except this was more peaceful. One day after so long, Vanny returned. Spiral was gone by natural causes, but Vanny had returned to destroy the family who sold everything and giving away Lefty's income/credits officially to someone that had every right to keeping the money and not passing it on to someone else as if it were some sort of hand-me-down. All because of his reputation. had finally been completed. And so she killed off everyone in the house/mansion, and nobody included Vanny. Including Vanny was never to be seen again. That is the end of the timeline, you guys. So anyways, yeah, that's the whole entire timeline of Level series. You might add more to it, but it might just be different. So all that's just the first part of the timeline. Anything else beyond that, that's different. And it's just a part of a whole other universe, like, you know, how I create universes and stuff, just from, like, my series and stuff. That's pretty much it, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe, I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye, guys.